And God was like, you want a husband, but can you keep it Christian? Okay, all right, let's go.
This is not fun. It's not fun. I'm not fun.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Word of Grace. Thank you so much for joining us. Today I have some lovely ladies here with me, and we are going to be talking about very specific questions. We gave you guys the opportunity to send through some questions, and today's video we will be answering those questions as best as we can, but we'll just go around and introduce ourselves.
Hi, I'm Kefa.
Hi, I'm Precious.
Hi, I'm Grace.
Hi, I'm Chalesha.
Okay, amazing. So we'll start with the very first question. Okay, so if you could level up any aspect of yourself, so like you could make any part of you better, what would it be and why? The options were, we've got stuff like charm, beauty, strength, intelligence, intelligence, and I guess like any other thing that you want to add.
Wisdom. Like just to be able to handle life.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like even with the wisdom thing, it doesn't even have to be like spiritual, because you need to be wise in life in general. Yeah.
Me as a person, like building my own strength as well with God and like other things as well with like growing up and like my career and stuff.
Yeah.
And finding ways to motivate myself to build all that strength. I think,
I feel like with me, it's a little bit like Kefa's as well, where I would want to be more resilient as a person. So, you know, when things happen, that you don't crumble, or that you don't, you know, straight away think it's the end of the world, but you can look ahead to what's going on or what you've come out of, and use it to encourage. Things change. Yeah.
Like your interpersonal skills, like being able to relate to other people, be able to understand what people's points of views are.
That's hard.
Ooh, that is hard.
Wisdom and emotional and social intelligence. Being able to, like, you know, put yourself in other people's situations and also relate better with people. Yeah, I find that's a skill that you just can't go wrong having if you're someone that socially you're quite intelligent, and I guess that is what it is. It's all about your social intelligence. If you're intelligent socially, you will go so far in life. You know, there are places that other people will be hesitant to go, but you will just naturally cruise through. Okay, so the next question is, what would you do if your partner was dependent on you? So say you're in a relationship with someone, but they're very dependent on you, and to the point where they've even said stuff like, if you leave me, I will hurt myself, you know, whether it's they're going to commit suicide or they're going to cut themselves, whatever level of hurting themselves. Now you're at a point where you want to leave. First of all, that's not healthy.
That's very selfish. I think of that person to demand so much from you. Like, not only are they dependent on you in like for the income, the way they're living, but now they're emotionally dependent and like they're attaching themselves to you.
It's quite toxic, I would say. Like, you need to get out of that, like, because it's like, it's not like, I don't know, like, I think it's really toxic if a person is gonna be like that and you say you're dating that person. It's not healthy for you. Like, get out.
I feel
it's
like
emotional blackmail.
It is emotional blackmail. And you know, I feel like it's the kind of thing that you as a person, you need to be able to say, this is something that I don't want. Because there are people out there that like their partners depending on them. They like to feel like you need me, you know? And that is, I don't know.
It's okay for them, I guess, but it's not, like, in
Yeah.
general, I don't think it's
like that thinking in
okay.
itself is just, don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. The moment they start to show sharp,
English
is really...
What were they doing before they met me?
It's right.
What were you doing?
Yeah. How were you surviving?
Yeah. okay.
Like, yeah.
Nah, the person
If a
needs to
person-
I don't know,
Get out.
You need to find a way
if
to exit.
possible, encourage that person to seek help because
Yeah.
they actually need help.
Yeah.
Because
You
it's
know.
mentally draining as well. Because
Yeah.
you're dealing
Yeah.
with your own personal stuff, and
Mhm.
then you have to deal with that person's own
Mhm.
emotions and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's to say, you know, that isn't going to spiral into something even deeper. What happens when they now start taking it onto
Yeah.
your
And-
family and
Yeah.
stuff like that? Because this is how all these things start. And then you end up with a psychotic people. Just don't do it.
Don't do it.
Okay.
Just don't do it.
So this is actually something that I was talking about at the beginning of the week. So someone owes you money, right? Say about $100. No, 1,000. Sorry, I got it wrong. $1,000. What would you do? So they don't come to you and they don't say, "Oh, sorry, I don't have any money." They don't make any attempt to, you know, communicate with you about how much they owe you. But suddenly you're seeing their Instagram. They're posting Nikes. You don't own Nikes, or you don't. You don't own your own Nikes, but they have Nikes. They've got Rolex. You know, they're living big. But and you're just sitting there like, and then where's my $1,000?
It's my money.
Yeah, like what would you do if something like that happened to you?
I don't know.
First
like,
of all, I think it's dependent on the individual. If I know I
and how
own
close.
you,
Yeah.
I would definitely keep you updated with what's
Yeah.
going
What's
on.
going on?
You
Yeah.
know, I can't afford to pay everything at this moment. However, I'm making efforts to do this. I feel it's more about communication.
It's yeah.
And in that circumstance, I don't blame the person for going to talk to them to say, you know what?
Yeah. Like if,
You're
what are you-
yeah, it's your money, so you do have
Yeah.
the right to ask
Especially if
for
you
your
make
money
effort.
back.
Yeah.
Or send
Okay.
anything.
So
It's
here's
$1,000.
it's 1,000. Here's a plot twist though, yeah? Okay, so if we look at it in our own thing, right? The whole we all know the story in the Bible about the servant that owed the master a whole lot of money,
Yeah.
and the master forgave them,
Mm.
and then they went to their fellow servant that
And
owed
said, "You
them
owe me
only
this much."
a hair. I'm going to chuck you into jail.
Yeah.
What if we now bring that perspective into it? What if we now say, okay, this person owes you $1,000 and they're living large. However, you owe God a lot more.
Yeah.
Does that change the answer in any way, or is it still a
I
whole
think-
thing of
In that sense, if you put it that way, then you put a grace period
Mm.
over it. You
Yeah.
like you know that you yourself owe God a lot.
yeah,
But God has forgiven you and your debt's paid.
Mm.
But then this person owes you that much, then also have the same grace. Like you don't know
Yeah.
how they got those Nikes.
That
Maybe they want to
money,
give.
yeah.
Maybe you don't know.
Mm.
So just give them that grace period and then go talk to them. Maybe like friendly
yeah.
remind them, just be like, oh, I noticed that you're doing well in life. I hope everything's going well.
But then it's like, I noticed you're doing well in life. Where's my money?
Where's my money? No, just that was hard. I don't know how you would
Yeah.
approach
Yeah.
it,
Personally, I don't
I
know
think-
how to.
I think
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah, to ask
Yeah,
people
I
for
don't
my
know.
money.
Exactly. It's,
I don't
I
know.
feel like the conversation of can I have some money
Yeah.
is a very easy
Very
conversation.
easy.
You go to someone, you're like, oh,
Can
I need $100.
Yeah.
But then for them to now say, where's my $100 back?
It's
That is the more
Yeah.
difficult.
It's-
I just
it's
can't
But
not
do
even
it.
that, that's 100, but we're talking about 1,000.
1,000, that's a lot, man. 1,000 will do a lot. I'll
It
go to
will.
New Zealand and come back about 2 or 3 times.
Well, you know, there's a time we were having a conversation with Evelyn and Chileche, and she said something that really stuck with me. She's like, if you're going to lend people or borrow people money, you should also kind of have this, put it at the back of your mind that you might not get
Get
it
the
back.
money
If you're
back,
giving somebody
yeah.
something,
Yeah.
give it willingly and out of
Yeah.
your heart. And that has really stuck with me.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it's hard going to ask somebody
for their money.
For your money back.
but I
And
also
it-
feel people should be
yeah.
considerate. If you
Yeah.
owe, at least
If it's a
communicate.
lot
least
of
give
money,
it,
yeah.
yeah.
Let
Like-
them know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
if you can't pay it all up front, like do like little bit of
Yeah.
money, like
Installments,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Labor.
Yeah. Let me my money back.
Give them a period where you know you can.
Yeah.
You can, yeah. I feel like at the end of the day, it all comes down to communication.
Yeah.
And it all comes down also to your like
Yeah.
respect. A lot of things are like, you know, they're all part of something, right? And I feel like if you don't respect me, There are certain things you do to me that you won't do to someone else that you
Exactly.
respect. I'm big on respect just in general, because there are certain things that you do around me that you won't do around someone that you respect. There are certain things that you do to me that you wouldn't do to someone. If you respect someone, you wouldn't take their money and then go and flaunt your wealth on Instagram. That's not how it works. It tells me that you don't respect me. The moral of the story is pay people their money back.
I know.
Or don't
They are not God.
Or just don't borrow money. If you can't pay it back. Like, it just, if you can't afford
and
it,
if it will
don't
affect
borrow
you
it.
in the time that they bring it back to you, just don't give.
Just don't give. Yeah. And it's that whole, I feel like sometimes as well as Christians, we feel like we're obligated to give, you know, like so far as someone has come to you, oh, I have to give because I'm a Christian. It's the godly thing to do. But okay, use sense around your giving as well. Like if you know, I know God makes a way. I'm not disputing that at all. God definitely 100% makes a way. And that whatever we give, he doubles that and he gives it back in return. But the thing is, don't give with the mindset of I'm giving this because I know God is going to give it back to me. Give from your heart, because if you give from your heart and the person doesn't return it, yes, it will hurt a little bit, but it won't cause any bitterness because you know you've given freely. But then if you're like, oh, I'm giving because Jesus said, you know, if I give, I'll give. You know, one elder in church said, I gave $100 and I went home and 100 was in my pocket, and you too.
You think it will occur?
You go and you give your 100 not because it's in your heart to give 100, because you are expecting that when you go home 100
will come
But
back.
the funny thing is, the Bible never also say it was just material blessings. That's what a lot of people get it wrong. It can be health, it can be a job, it can be so many things. But times we're too fixated on the
money.
The money itself.
It's all money. Yeah.
Which is quite sad. Like, it's quite sad. Like,
True.
And the very last question is okay, so scenario, I hope I explained this well, so you have a sister, right? So your little sister dated somebody, right? And it didn't work out. And now there's a family friend of yours. So maybe this is someone that you know personally, your sister might know, the family knows them. And so that person now met the gentleman, and they like each other, they want to friend each other, and they want to friend each other, but yeah, basically they like each other and they start talking or dating, right? In that instance, what would you do, knowing that, okay, this is someone my sister dated and it didn't work out? Oh, and then other thing is, the guy is not a bad guy. It's not like he's a bad person who does bad things. It just didn't work out. So
I would say, like, to be honest, you can't really decide on who goes with who. Like, maybe if your sister dated that person and didn't work out, maybe they were just not right for each other. And if that person dated that family friend and they were right for each other, like, you never really know who's meant for who. So I don't think, like, it has to do with maturity as well. Like if your sister's not going to marry that person, you can't really do much about it. And
let's
stuff
say
like
no
that.
one else can marry them because you didn't marry them.
So there's not much you can do in that situation. Like, I don't know. To me, I'm like, you don't own someone in a sense. Like, unless if they were married or something like that and they had kids or something like that, like, that's a problem. But like, if it's just dating, to me, I think it's just dating. And obviously you're all close and it's a bit of a, like, it builds like a barrier or something, but at the same time like, it's just dating. Like, you never know.
They're not your husbands.
Stop claiming. Like, if it's not for you, it's not for you. Like, you can't force. You never
force
know.
it,
Maybe that person and that person links better. So you never know. Like,
that's so
it's
true.
just unfortunate that you guys know each other.
Wow.
But it could be a blessing.
A series of unfortunate events.
Oh my gosh.
It just happens. That's what I think.
I think that you can't control who people end up with, and you also can't inhibit what's already flowing. So if it works out with them, it works out with them. Like, who are you to come and say, oh,
You can't date her because she dated my sister.
Yeah.
And if the guy was a potential for your sister, that
It
means
would've
you
worked
thought
out.
that
Yeah.
this guy is genuine, this guy's good. So why can't it work out with the friend?
With someone
Yeah.
else, yeah. That's so
Yeah,
true.
don't block someone's blessing.
Amen. Amen. Don't become a blessing blocker. Don't let the devil use you.
Wow.
True.
Oh man. Yeah. I think I'm kind of on that same thing as well. I'm 100% for, at the end of the day, we don't own people.
Exactly.
Like even your own child, you don't own them, let alone somebody's child that they have raised and brought up and fed. You did not participate, you did not pay school fees, you did not pay grocery bills. It's hurting me. It's paining me within me. Anyway, but yeah, honestly, so like at the end of the day, you made them. You tried. It didn't work.
It didn't work.
It hurts. Honestly, I've been there. I've been there more times than I can say. That's a lot. I've been there more times than I can say.
Wow.
Oh, it's deeper.
It pains. Yeah, but seriously though, on a more serious note, you can't do it. At the end of the day, some people are meant to be with other people, and they're not meant to be with you. I remember there was this thing that I was going through with a friend of mine. And God was really trying to talk to me in that time, but I was I was like, you cannot be together. It's just not going to happen. And God was really talking to me and trying to heal me. I think it was sort of like obviously God knows what's going to happen, and it was almost like He was trying to heal me or begin that healing process before it happened. Because I started having a series of dreams, and I remember the very last dream that I had, the message that came out of that was, don't underestimate the it's not ability, but it's like, don't underestimate a man who wants to find a wife or who is choosing a wife, right? And for me, I misinterpreted that one. I was like, obviously I'm his wife, you need.
Your wife is not picking me.
So I'm the one that's the wife.
I'm the one.
Because I'm the one that got the dream. So I'm the wife.
Oh.
Oh my God,
And then things started happening, started manifesting. And for me, I was like, it's not making sense. It's just not making sense. Something's not right. And the thing is, because I'd misinterpreted the dream, it hurt even more. Whereas if I'd prayed about it,
No, I can't. I'm sorry.
if I'd prayed about it and actually sought like good counsel and tried to be wise about it, it would have been really good healing for me, as in the whole thing would have gone down and I wouldn't be fine. But to me, I woke up and I was like, hey man, I am the wife. Guys,
And
so
then
yeah.
you got a shock.
And then I got a shock. And then the sad thing is that I now became a destiny blocker. I was the one that was like, we cannot be together. It's not going to work. God showed me in my dreams. Guys, be careful about your dreams, eh?
Or pray about your
Pray about your dreams.
Or talk to someone older.
Yeah.
See people
Guys,
Seek guidance.
about your dreams.
Moral of the story is seek
Don't-
guidance.
Don't listen to yourself all the time. because
Oh, man. I was ready, eh? I was ready to be wifed
But were
up.
you ready?
But I was not ready. Guys, I remember I think a few months later, I was sitting in my bed, my room was just a mess. I think because there was so much happening, I wasn't okay emotionally. I didn't feel like taking care of myself. And so it kind of spilled into all the areas of my life.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there like, God, I'm really upset. And God was like, you want a husband, but can you keep it clean? Guys, it hit my chest. It really. And then it was a painful something because I was expecting pity and the Holy Spirit is a comforter. He will come and comfort me. But he came with some hard truth. And I really looked around the room. I got out of that bed and started cleaning up.
She woke up.
I woke up. I said, I need to start tidying up because my life needs to be clean.
was
try.
just like, this one's not serious.
But it's just like, just let her.
Continue sitting there. Is it only you that has been heartbroken?